Okay, so welcome all. So it's a very wonderful opportunity for me. So mo porta varakum class summer avi networking part mo go pai. At least avi tunga singati vatakartam sarasanko. Remote donri so kuni country setanga pura. At least unta hello sangatam sara satam sara swatakartam sara smanari avi priority moko. So subsequently, I am just trying to share some of my knowledge and some of my experience in KC. As we always say, it's a group study platform. So it's not like, traditional classroom. Uh, so you can always interact, and if you have something to say, you can just stop and say. So it's just a group study platform. So future maybe tumkamula interesting area. Tumi want a class in namanamula we angol sanguluwai. So tumi want a class why. Okay. So I like you just on a short term and a area and a Mario 10 Saturdays military. Okay, let me go to this next slide. Sorry. Stop. Let me share one more time. Okay. Repeated ka sangara mari sela Python avi and object oriented programming language mani. Right, let me just off my video as well. So object oriented programming. Atavi so far the maybe Python basic course karatalo. So basic kalailate pura like every variable binakaya. Y variable and what do we do with the variable? So telemo kai data store कर रहा सी data types का है. So कौन अभी comments introduce करता है. कौन अभी उनका conditional statement लिखता है. कौन looping करता है. iterative को उनका process कौन करता है. तो हमारे function concept. So तिकाला वो भी हमें इसी की रहे. And तेला उनका procedural way of writing or approaching or solving problems. So the Tavartelavi object-oriented programming, it's a different methodology. And Telavi Mulamula Siasmanati, even more experience Siasmanati, I was working in civil engineering department as a lecturer in VET, VEC develop, the VIT minimum area. So they told me I moved to Singapore to work in computers, software development more. So my first Singapore jatala the requirement kai holte minati to me have small talk man around a language. So lamo work in many mo invite kari hote. So small talk is one of the first object oriented programming language. Small talk man about I got interesting right. Before that, I was using C programming, and even before that, basic programming, Fortran, so the Lamari, LRC, few over the evolve or use small talk around. So the Alan K. Many Tenusavi first element contribute I think a father of OOP many Manatamari said this, but it's a contribution from several individuals you see. A word like a small talk many bus simple ka vattagiri kamusanna case. Jukku vattagarana. So now is the Torah small talk many. So object oriented concepts actually we have objects to the real world resource we the kai problem ki talagavi analogous ka objects we am think irisi the objects one halluga vattakalai yes interact karlai so the mari hello methodology the maybe detailed got to see so the small talk mari subsequently the we C program evolve for each usum hote time last C we extend get C++ many the object oriented programming language So ila mari evolve hoile sete at recent ga you have many object oriented programming languages including Python. Like we JavaScript, so Java, so the poor object oriented programming you see. So kai vidyas illa I mean procedural or functional programming karatak ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಓರಿಯೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಕರ್ತವೆ kai vidyas. So when ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಸಡತಲ್ಲ ಬದಲ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಆತಮ್ ಸಹಿ. So in the session we will just talk about so what is OOP, object oriented programming में काय है, कौन डिफाइन करते हैं, तेगा बेनिफिट्स काय है, and basic concepts जुगियस इते, but हिंदा क्लास में भी classes and objects ಇಲ್ಲ రెండు basic concepts ఉంటాయి ಓ ಸಬ್ವೆ तेला क्लासेस पति सीधी तेगा पति डिटेल्ड गा तेला क्लास बना कौन अभी हम तेला डिफाइन करते हैं. So तेगा रिलेटेड डिटेल्स सब है तेला हमारी क्लास में तोड़ी हमें भी तेला ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएशंस तेला कौन है मना रेसी थी और नन्ना सैंपल क्लास अभी वर्क करी सब है. So इल्ले सभी इंदा ओडा agenda. So वो मैंने दी it's one of the methodology where the software design be around objects and their interactions. So real world problem go analogous ko maybe computer mo objects ka think irisi. So we will design our software in many objects and the processes or interaction of the objects. So tella basically around a methodology. So it's one of the methodology in software programming mo. And what are the benefits many see number one avi modularity. Detailed ga मैं अर्थ सब modularity में ना काय मनी reusability and easier maintenance, improved readability and scalability ये हमारी main का संगवाय मी. Modularity मैंने थी on the system थी on the program हमें भी तेला कौन अभी think कैसे कर रहा था अभी का smaller modules का तेला अभी split कर रहा था on the complex problem solve करता ला तेला कॉम्प्लेक्स का थिंक रहती सॉल्यूशनिंग अभी जुको जुको टफ. So तेला कौन अभी मॉड्यूल को तेला अभी अंक अभी साता मुसरस ओके. So एला पोर्शन अभी कंबाइन करी उन्टा पोर्शन उन्टा मॉड्यूल का डिजाइन करना. So एला मारे अभी मेनी मॉड्यूल्स को कौन करते हैं तेला मॉड्यूल मतलब क्रिस्प को उन्टा स्मॉलर का तेला उन्टा स्कोप अभी उन्टा डिफाइंड करना उन्टा स्मॉलर एस एमो. So तेला मारी इंडिपेंडेंट करना तेला मॉड्यूल. That means the dependency with other modules is जो उन्ना करना. So independent modules करना. Interchangeable modules करना. Interchangeables मना दे plug and play मारी. Suppose एला वाला particular module अभी एला whole project मो अंगा एका बोधिलो suitable का अंगोंटे सेवनी मने तेला माचा तम सुना. So interchangeable. So एला अभी तेरा परिधि अभी modularity मने अभी भी degree संगवाई. So 100% modularity or 50% modularity. So तेला मारी मनवाई. And what are the characteristics of these systems, such as modular systems? Number one, अभी separation of concerns. So यह पट complex project अभी साथ लो too many issues, too many problems, too many concerns right. So उन्हें solve करते हैं हमें अभी एले define करता करना. So एले पूरा अभी एले particular concern related का सेते हैं. So अंगोंटे issue अभी तेले total का अभी different concern हो. तर हमारे हम ये भी सेपरेट करता करना. सेपरेट करी उन्टे ये अभी सॉल्व करता है उन्टे स्पेसिफिक टास्क तेले और स्पेसिफिक फंक्शनलिटी तेले दी सॉल्व करता है तेले उन्टा मॉड्यूल का हम ये भी डिजाइन करी डेवलप करता है. तो तेले अभी नंबर वन कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स इन मॉड्यूलर सिस्टम्स. तेले हमारे उनचा मैंने हमारी सी इंडिपेंडेंस मैंने तभी इंडिपेंडेंट के लिए वर्क करना मॉड्यूल में भी minimal dependencies of y. अगर data पाते हैं उन module में जो y और अगर output जो होंगे then हमारे y some dependency y सी but जो कोई dependency नहीं आता allow को dependent really तेला work करता हूँ सुनो. So independence रहना and interchangeability like a particular module बदलो say I have something else to add so I should be able to swap or get something else. So ಎಲ್ಲ ವರ್ಕ್ करता मारी तेला मुसुनो. So interchangeability रहना and of course reusability तेला main concept so modular designs, it enables us to reuse the code, and it is there even before OOPS. The C programming or any other procedural programming, we write functions, and that could be reused in other applications also. So the reusability but yes. Okay. So these are all the important characteristics of the modular systems. And so Lamari heavy design kerasmine think keri hal kai advantage. Kai benefits when you say asminati easier maintenance. So maintain karta easy. Any problem, we know, okay, this problem is from this particular module. When I tell a module one to see so the Lamari angavi maintain karte easy karwai. Kamera ella module suppose problems semna ellaga hetti dusye plug in kartam sesana the entire system affect karna anga kartam sahi. So maintenance becomes easier and faster development. So when we have a modular approach, so on a model maybe we can have a team, and team can work, picking up different modules by different developers. So the modular design procedural it's a bit difficult because we have to wait for one thing to complete. So telamari hoyi. So but we modular design so many people can work together, and the development could be faster actually. And improved scalability. Scalability we have project order features van suppose demand much high, new requirement so the maybe so improve so telamari possibility easy and reduce the complexity. So camera complex problem separate करता so okay portion maybe solve maybe simplify modularize so the complexity reduce so I mean how we have to approach or how we have to look into the problems so tune actually so I mean theoretical so but practical I mean given a complex problem tell me we कौन solve करता tackle कर रहा tell me कौन अभी उन्हें module का करता है भी tell कौन split करता सारा सी so tell पर carry सी एजी संका भी tell और पढ़ाई and अंग tell का उन्हें hands on अपाई ते आलू से भी उन्हें project खेलने करता सी चकोड़ो and उन्हें हाँ जुगु project खेलने करवाई okay. And for today, basic concepts, OOPS concept, render India cover karanjariya. The very first one is classes. Classes means template for creating objects. The usual का example संगन मनती है maybe पढ़े old example का संगन मनता the घेर बंदा तक अंगा भी तला single तो भी बंदवे नहीं है अरे तला single is object but तला single create करता को तेरे उन्टा container थोड़ा तला container मुआ भी तला so whatever the ingredients अभी तला तो भी सुकड़ी तला भी भरा डरे थी तला भी it becomes a object. So the object create karta Python template class many way object oriented programming not only in Python, in any object oriented programming languages like Java, JavaScript and C++, and so classes it's a O concept. Okay. हमारे blueprint मना रहा बटम ले use कर रहा so blueprint मना रेमला तभी उन्हें building plan से blueprint मना basic का तला word तला मत उनके आवर या so blueprint मना रहे अभी तले सी so सभी हमें अभी actual का build के रिमसे तर तले हमारी उन्हें building ready हुई है ना so we have a bigger object से तला का order prototype we have as a blueprint so classes मला हमारी so we have a class which can help us to create an object of that type. Like class type, you go object create. Right? One ten ha diya na jugiye. As a single example kalwaga. ఇంకా 100 సెంగల్ పై 1000 సెంగల్ పై అనేది తెల ఉంటే కంటైనర్స్ తెల மாதிரி ಜೂ ಕಂಟೈನರ್ಸ್ ಏಮನೆ ತೆಲ ಮಾವಿ ತೊವಿ ಹೆಡಿ ಕರ್ರ ಮಾರಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂಟೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತೊವಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾರಿ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇವಿ ಜುಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಕಲ್ಲುವಾಯ್ based on our requirement. So the classes and objects, as we said, are instance of the classes. So classes thoda instance minimum area with their own attributes and methods. So attributes and methods artha mi sanjariya. So don't classes are maybe defined karatalo. You can have some properties. kai kon object ka maybe the class maybe design kar raha si. తెల్ల ఆబ్జెక్ట్కు తేవయాన అట్రిబ్యూట్స్ తెల్ల మరి తెల్ల ప్రాసెస్ करता काय मेथड काय the method manari avi those who are very new to this OO the function many amilkene python so function and method more or less avi we mean the same actual so the function is avi method okay the OO concept we usually call method. And attribute manner it's a property. It's more like your variable in Python. So the variable of Python maybe use ke le sete, but the level scattered ga we that many maybe Python maybe use ke le sete. Take a bodulu ella bir angut working carry ro ella object kundana attributes or properties. Pro unte tham rata. Okay. So ಎಲ್ಲ ಪುರ ಅವಿ detailed the concepts I mean to seeing so encapsulation or so many other terms process ಎಲ್ಲ first class me juku terms anguni only rendu term hotan tholienge classes and objects so ಎಲ್ಲ diya unta hotan tholienge and in Python everything is an object ada ami avi erkanave avi basics chodatalo just on a procedural language maris to maybe carries irhan likirhano it's more like C programming only thing syntax where and otherwise it's almost same many times may have to kerran the telama set maris if statement ellamo conditional statement use karras while set use karras so telamari but object oriented programming minimum Python avi is purely avi 100% object oriented programming. Most of the thing in Python avi objects ga sette adella avi dictionary variable ella me avi on dv meaning on a variable ka develop minimal have Python basic this dv is actually an object so we have created an object of dictionary type okay and yeah so apart from these classes and objects we will see more concepts in the future classes like we have inheritance and polymorphism and encapsulation and abstraction many juge concepts so first day the carry jatanappa only two concepts engati umsalliyanga the melle hote ne Python avi everything is object many sare oka examples yenga ado ami built in data types kai see manati numbers and strings the basic data type advanced data types list tuple set dictionary range so many data types atho a equal to 5 many manati integer value store keltiya ella variable many develop melli ami tele mari use kelle hote hai procedural language ka tele kelle hote hai but a or a type ka many to print keri sias manati type manati emla mi gewal case basic so type manati ella variable a avi kai type many sangai ella temi avi system ji print keri sias manati it will give you output like class int so it's a class actually integer class many so by default avi Python avi it takes it as a class so tele mari so 3.14 manare it's a float a types it's another class actual so that means we have a class and so whatever we have here object a around object b around object so some local y and this is string types string class then mari list ella bracket square bracket the list many manariya ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ class list class tuple class dictionary class so everything is object त्याला हमारे built-in functions like print function type सही कैसे होगा तेलमला भी it will say it's a class. So and even len function also it's a class. Even some of the modules also is a module class when you say. So Python itself has been developed, as an object. So goes it. So very design करिए अंगा भी चौकट use करता हमारी बिल्डिया हो रहा सी. Okay, आता भी class कौन अभी Python में हमें भी define करता है. आता again मिसांगे हमारी class बना रहे concept object oriented programming ओड़ा concept Python कोंटे சொந்தமானதுன்னா any object oriented programming language class बना रहे से कोंटे language इंगे तेला syntax वो विद्यास कर रहा है. आता Java में भी उन्हें class define class बने तेला कौन रहा है. C++ कौन रहा है. So विद्यास कर रहा है. आमी सारे Python. So Python में उन्हें class कौन define करता है मनी. So class बना रहा keyword एला use करी हमें define करी हुए. So on example, so a class many keyword a class or an hours class 1 no, and as usual we colon to musadive, right? Python or a specific delimiter even from function likatala the misiran. Okay, if class likatala siran, while likatala siran, so I'm sadatala on the colon thing at musadive. Elatmatela is class 1 colon. Taidi Adumavi, Amiavi, a class order attributes and methods. So that's how we define a class. So it's very analogous to any other segment. If class likarasami, if they on the condition tai Adumavi, that's code segment that while loop tagatala, while telamari how tis over, lemari class mula, class tai class order name, colon to be code part of the code we write. So telamavi we will usually have the properties or what we call attributes as well as the methods. So the letter at the elamavi simple ka unde attribute on x many equal to 5 many assign say. Okay, and so now we can use the class named class 1 to create objects. Ata maybe class ready ketia. At class to I may want object create condominati. Object to I may now the y. At the maybe obj1 object 1, obj1 many object now the resi. So equal to class 1 the bracket open close can now. So we are creating an object of class 1. So manati at the one x equal to 5 minutes at the object to mulla x equal to 5 right. Okay. So when we instantiate an object, so it's actually a copy of all the attributes and methods that you get for this object. Object 2 class 1 of object 2 x right. So it's a copy of this class. Okay, again back to that single example, Mari. So we'll have multiple objects. So we can have multiple objects if there is a need. Okay. And next, how do we access these properties? So the properties we gonna access karta. So the class, so we want object 1 we create it. So to access this x of this object 1, object 1 to be the dot operator. Dot to be x. As you can access that x value. Print so that you can test. And access karta kalaiyo, so tele kona modify kanamna musaiya. Ni remove kanamna musaiya. So tele mari questions right. So we can assign a value to the attribute. We can delete that particular attribute or property. Or the entire object if you want to delete also, you can delete. Adella object 1.x equal to 73 menati. Tella object order, tella copies at the x order value 73 ka machai. Adella point on juku kavananga iguno. Kamana to pay avi juku casual ko do I see. But see, when we create an object, we get a copy of that x. Okay. There are object 2 here, take a copy of the x. So me object 1 x 73 macheti. Then object 1 take a copy of the x's value of machate. But a class in set x machirana. Okay. So that you have to remember. Tell me on all practical carisatala tungavi verbal to. So we are setting the value of the x to a new value. You can check and see object 1 x. If you want to delete that particular property, you can delete del keyword to be object1.x. You can delete that object property. Or entire object delete can simply delete that object 1. So allow y. I think we sange detail of class variable can be accessed using class name. So maybe explanation extra kaidana variable mostly the type of variables one class variable object order a copy. So the instance variable because each object one the instance of that class, which is instance and so one instance one object for here. So the instance of that x, that's one variable, and class x variable, class variable. So class variable and instance variable yes x obj1.x minimal access करवाए. Okay. अंगुंडे method access करते हैं class 1.x minimal access करवाए. तले दिया हम लोग में अभी test करी सवो work for us में print करी सवो class 1.x minimal में access करवाए. So class 1.x में access करते लो we access class variable. Okay. And object 1.x में access करते लो that is the copy. Object 1 order copy x may access here. So there is a difference. Okay. And that is why I have asked this question. What will be the value of class 1.x? So the eiger height minimum 5 per height 73 karana. Class 1.x print carries at 5 per height. But obj1.x 73 asan karatla print carries 73 per height. Okay, so the difference you can test it out. Next methods. So class as we said, it will have attributes and additionally methods. So let's have a calculator class. Class order now calculator. Okay, colon. So only some methods. Methods, as I said, it's again function. Many functions of what the so function so function we define def to be define function now the way parameter parameter the column function so function so it's almost same. So here we call it as a method. So we call method. So def the add method. Then we self manner instance many so they got a b. So render parameter and color see. So return kartala the add carry that area. Tell subtract subtraction multiplication and division kartala careful to check area 0 here divide kartam sanamana check otherwise they divide and send. So in the calculator class to be on the calci many on object create. So call calci on object. Okay. So the calci object I can still access my methods. So last slide I say how we access the property or attribute. And here we see how we access the method. And it is same. So dot operator to is access kari. So the method access kari. When I pass two numbers 5 and 3, so it's going to work on this. So output away. So the subtract, multiply, divide. So this is just an example to tell you, okay, a class can have properties or attributes and methods. So the A of Y. Okay. And a method constructor method. So init many. So the init method we incorporate. So ASCII class and all class we can have this constructor class. So usually it is executed when you instance on the object instance create करता लो ले execute हुए on the object create होता लो से लगी automatic default का भी तला call हुई execute हुई आई okay तला on the hotan थोड़ो वो तो ये तला ना हुई constructor method so when you construct an object it is triggered so automatically लगी trigger हुई आई when the object अभी construct होता लो or instantiate many word use कर रही है so on the instance create करता लो ये ले init method अभी constructor का भी तला work होई default का and this function अभी like usual का खूब use कर लो है मैंने तला मैं अभी तला object create होता लो संग काय अभी initial values assign करना ये attributes को तला पूरा तला मैं ताई थोड़ दिए थी तला object अभी create होता लो तला पास the seed value or initial value तला पूरा अभी तला मैं ताई थोड़ वाई तो तला मैं use कर भी आमी and a self manner अभी आमी मुलामला सी है it's a reference to the current instance of the class as we said अभी class में अभी class variable किसे थे instance variable किसे थे so the self manner अभी the object create for the okay so the object को the refer करा गया मना तो उची the self manner word हम use करेंगे okay the example सेंगे so again on the class the class order name अभी person okay colon the area maybe again a method or function def तो भी हमें define करेंगे okay and a method now we init somewhat we rendu underscores it tela mari idu aduthumla rendu underscores it rendu underscore thingilla slide um serkade kariyani rendu underscore hai okay init manariya within bracket um ella self usual ka we to say that that particular instance which is self mean here and only two parameters name and age so colon so the self again it says that the particular object when you create the object order name the self dot name equal to whatever name that you collect in the constructor. So the object order age. So LIV on the class dedicated. At the class we just have the constructor and constructor maybe the whatever attributes that we want to have. Okay. And next we are going to create an object. P1 menu on the object. The class maybe create kararia. So person so we a constructor it takes two parameter name and age. So we are passing two name John and 36 many. Okay. So this is going to create an object called P1. Okay. So the object the particular copy of the object say the name John age 36 okay tell us the print carries a test carries a so p1.name and p1.age okay and this is just an alternative alternative simple name won't okay object create kartala age we set but age we on the value none many assign but later on you can assign so a person create kartala I just pass only the name so the object is created so later on I can refer the age p1.age many refer kari talama abhi 36 many assign kari so either way is okay it depends how you want to do it and based on where the data is available. So sometime abhi data code available ka say in object create for thoda sa data anga te agar mulo sa build riya the age so ela mare likhwai but situation can be different ami koni ti onda process kari name abela tu tela database inji query kari temadonde tela now age pull kari avi tela age abai manati that's going to be a different implementation. So gamana okadanga confused kar hai kaga we sound method tail rasti sound method tail rasti so we are all driven by the data where it is available and how it is available so the halavi the point of view more different approach mo mi program karve so another method avi to learn avi str many string representation method The str function, it controls what should be returned when the class object is represented as a string. And maybe object audio, the object print करी print करतलो मुगावी ಎಲ್ಲ output आवनो. मैंने होटे तेल्ले अभी तलड़ दे बाय. मतलब example से तुमको इवर पढ़ाई. So ಎಲ್ಲ init अभी ಎರಡನೇ ಮಿಸಿಯೇ kalla sa wangon da function def tai str again avi rendu underscore so malla paskala rai so ella instance which is self main use kalriya colon tai ella function str avi call kareti it is going to return a string ella f string ka karrasi so ella avi placeholder tai ella self dot name ella age bracket age so ella avno so many avi string method likithoriya. So the code I mean test case of y manati first object creation passing the name and the age p1 created. P1 just print carries as manati when you simply print this object, so it's going to call this str function if it is available. If it is available. You get some error or so tell my error of the wipe so tell here tell return value print kare. So tell we use karano. Sometime for debugging purposes, you can have this. Okay. And yeah, engudoka sityavi str mari angote representation repr minimum you can write another function. It also does the same, but probably you can have more detail in repr method. Okay. So almost avi less avi more theory part to maybe cover kanna mini out I mean though. And before I close this, okay, so I'll PyCharm install kitras minute तुमको okay, so PyCharm मुझसे Python console अभी integrated कैसे थे, so अभी first time use कर रहा था तो वो करेल ना, okay. So if you open the PyCharm maybe left side में से आज मैंने सो Python console में नहीं सकते. So the always key inbuilt ka setelamo. That's why we call IDE. So many things integrated for learning and development to go. So let G to maybe okay test carries and test carries of y. At the in the second my x equal to 3. At the order type chi x. So it's a integer class. So class many hours see. So the lamari probably let's say ls equal to 2, 3, 4, 5. So many it's a list. So ls type kaya maybe. So that's also a class list class. So the mari Python mavi I mundla chavatale lamari kala sirhana type manare I miss KFC. But elavi class manare devala note karhan. So overlook. So in Python, mostly everything is object. So even strings has many. So it's going to be string, right? So type string. So many say that. So because it is class and whatever you create, yes, is an object. We are able to access their properties and methods. So on a module ka karthana hai na tumi also nagiri hoga string related ye pura I mean sangya separation of similar things that concern the word is correct. Sometime it concern, sometime it may be same thing. So on day mari se we maybe consolidate kari group kanna mina out tulamda. So string related pura tanika. So on the part kaliki tela on a class ka kari okay they are related properties kai they are related methods kai so another design karana. Yeah, think of it. So tela mari maybe module ka import kari mula use kar ras basic class mula. We can import other modules. So on module ka define kari. So on a domain khali tela domain related ka kai ka nahi kari on a module ka be supply karan. So it's open source, so you can import in your program and use it. So it gives you scalability. Yeah, ikudanga work, ikudanga knowledge, ami avi incorporate kiran the project umla kartam sarasi. So the lemari ami avi lemari unde design, lemari unde software design karatola. Still how done tholi lemari unde modular design ka karatola. Ami maintain karta easy. Dusadanga oda model ande mo incorporate kelluai. So हमारी जो को scalability so हमारी जो को advantages है हमें जात जाता सीखेंगे so हिंदा class अभी एंगाटी मुसलियेंगे next class अभी practical so practical more first probably अभी I will explain so the problem so काय problem होगा मैं अभी computer करने जा रही है code लिखने जा रही है मैंने go through कर so go through karatala maybe in the sikke theory thobi ikadur kartam segi tikadur kartam ari maybe on the instruction set avi probably in the this on the musa ready keri tungo post kerisu so della thebi tungo time hatala karata start kervo ni menamla holla class ma maybe start keri della kervai so tela likata mikai kervai menati la paicha mus yasanati version control kit mulla vi integrated kasete so tindu the work musada tala maybe want to commit karuvo so gittum so tungavi they want to version right so in the order the instructions the coding musada asnati you can commit and you can have a repository local repository so tele mari avi one out theory musatikamo you will just continue so te aduttu kaisi kasi te thobi tele project continue hoyanko so there are on the end of the 5 practicals, I mean, overall, certificate the game we run kera dhamata mari ketirave. Musada and latugu to maybe the GitHub cloud go to me the upload kiri thuluo. So that will be a big camera to boosting the reference of the writing. Sorry, I'm on a project karasi and the GitHub account to maybe I'm a throat rasi. ఒకదంగా సంగటి షేర్ కల్లువా ఫర్దర్ అవి ఇదలా ఎన్హాన్స్ కల్దమనే కల్లువా so that is the idea so let's proceed subsequently atami avi recording hibre hotusu stop the recording